Chest up, shoulders back. Welcome to Revival Fitness, everybody, your home for gains and brains. And as you guys know, I am the Bulk King, and we have another video today about that very topic. I'm going to explain to you guys today precisely why you need to bulk in a prolonged caloric surplus to build a serious muscle, to really change your body composition, and really get the body you desire. This is never going to run out of heat, this topic. This is never going to run out of steam talking about this, because every day, every week, there's a new massive batch of skinny young people, men and women both, who get on the internet looking for fitness advice, how to get big and strong, and they're told they're going to recomp their way into 20 or 30 pounds of muscle. Not going to happen. So this is going to be like an evergreen topic on this channel, I would think, because this nonsense never stops. Really, guys, the fear of bulking that a lot of these influencers instill onto people, that's their business model, right? The people that watch them never bulk. They never gain legitimate size and strength. They plateau indefinitely. Then they watch those influencers forever. Oh, he's going to give me the one secret workout now. Or here's the one supplement he sells. Or here's his special training guide for $99 for a 3-page guide. Thinking that's what's going to get them big and strong, when in reality, all you need is intelligent training and more food. So that's something else you have to understand about bulking too, guys. A lot of people talk about, okay, you're going to do 3,000 calories for 8 straight months. And it's like, guys, as you build a muscle in your bulking phase, that 3,000 is going to have to go up, because the more muscle you add and maintain onto your frame, the more calories or energy it takes to sustain and grow more muscle mass. So if you start a bulk at 3,000 calories and you train properly and recover properly and lift well and get stronger the entire time, after a couple months, you're more than likely going to have to push that 3,000 up to 3,200 or 3,300. Maybe even 3,500 just to be safe. Because again, guys, the purpose of the surplus is a continued, prolonged, unquestionable anabolic environment. Excess calories inherently is anabolic, guys. Even if you're not training, you guys can probably see really overweight or fat people. A lot of them will have big forearms and big calves, right? Maybe even like sizable backs in some cases. They barely even work out or never work out. Why do they do that? Carrying all of that excess body fat is going to grow their muscles by itself, because their body simply is just heavier to maneuver around. And then combine that with weight training, you're going to make serious gains. But the caloric surplus for a prolonged period is the precursor to all of this. And for many of you watching, especially those with ab anxiety, your normal height, you weigh 150, 160, maybe even 140 or below. You might have visible abs or might not even have visible abs, and you're still that lean in terms of body fat and weight. Your number one priority has to be building muscle. Not getting the perfect six-pack, not recomping, not cutting, and getting all your veins to show. You need size and strength. That is your first priority as a skinny lifter. You need to get bigger. And I'm going to explain to you right now with FFMI why that's the case. So if you don't know what FFMI stands for, it's been around the online fitness space for a number of years now. It used to be more popular in terms of direct videos being made about it than it is today, but it stands for Fat-Free Mass Index. Basically, it gives you a number on a scale, seeing where your body composition lies. So you're going to input your height, your weight, and your estimated body fat percentage. Once again, guys, nobody knows for sure their body fat percentage unless you get a highly scientific scan done on your body. So you can make a generally educated guess, or maybe get somebody to do it for you if you really don't know how this all kind of works. But once you plug those numbers in, at least on the website I'm using here, this is ffmicalculator.org. Very nice looking website, by the way. Put your numbers in, then you're going to get your number, and it's going to show up on a sliding scale at the bottom of the screen. And FFMI became popular years ago because this used to be kind of the natty or not ultimate tool. This was basically the trump card for the natty or not debate, because if somebody's FFMI fell in a range that was deemed suspicious or unlikely, or just very high on the chart, that essentially means they have a very high portion of muscle with very little fat, especially for their height. Because generally speaking, I believe the golden rule was somebody with an FFMI over 25 or so, that kind of 25 point, that's when you get suspicious. But for this video, we're going to use me as the main example. So I'm gonna first input my numbers, what I was whenever I started lifting, then we'll compare them to kind of a midway point, then we'll compare them to now. So I am 5'10" in height, and whenever I started lifting, guys, this old photo, this notorious picture of me when I started, I was about 152 pounds, soaking wet. Barely had any muscle mass on me. I wasn't really fat. You could call this kind of skinny fat. Even so, guys, I've said this before, if you are skinny fat, not actually fat, if you're in a BMI calculator and your weight is average or even below, you still need to bulk. Just because you have a little bit of belly pudge or a little bit of man boobs, just a tiny amount, you still fit comfortably in a small size shirt, you're not fat, man. You need to eat, okay? You will lose that belly fat quickly if you build enough muscle and train properly. It'll go away quicker than you think. But I was 152 pounds in this photo, and let's say I was, let's just be conservative and say 17% body fat. So if you see on the chart here, guys, that puts me at the 18.25, I guess, range. That's in the average range on the chart. So you can see my fat-free mass right here, 126 pounds. So that essentially means sans body fat, just my skeleton, my muscles, all that stuff when I was at that weight. 126 pounds of lean mass at that point. So that's average on the chart. And many of you probably fall in this range too. Let's say you're 5'10" and even 160, and let's say you're at, I don't know, 12. Say you're pretty lean. Well, that's closer to above average, but still, right? If you guys are interested in serious lifting, like looking big in clothes, looking like you lift, looking anything remotely close to classic physique or bodybuilding, even CrossFit, or something like that, you're going to want to get your numbers closer to the excellent to superior range down the line. Now, let's fast forward to when I was 170 pounds. Let's say I got down to 14% body fat, and I did waste the first almost 3 years of my training trying to recomp endlessly, doing a bunch of junk volume. I pretty much have spent the last 3 years gaining most of my muscle mass, guys, and most of my strength. It is what it is. You can't change the past, but you can make better decisions now if you're new. But before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, it's the algorithm. But say I get up to 5'10", 170, and 14% body fat. So my fat-free mass has went up to 146.2 pounds. So let's say I've gained about 20 pounds of muscle, right? Because the muscle gain, then some of the fat loss. But as you can see on the chart, we've went from average around the 18 point, now we're up to 21, just a little bit over 21. So this is where many average height guys are going to be whenever they finish their novice gains and begin their intermediate phase, maybe early intermediate. Now, if you guys started out overweight or obese, especially if you were obese, your numbers are not going to look this good per se on the FFMI chart because you have a lot of fat to lose. Don't get discouraged by that. Either way, guys, whether you're gaining some body fat via bulking if you're slim or losing body fat via recomp or cutting if you're bigger, fundamentally you still need to focus on muscle gain to truly change your physique. So let's fast forward to now. I'm 190. Now you see there, if I was 190 at 14%, that would put me close to the superior range. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm 190 and let's say roughly 18% body fat. You know, let's even just say 20, just to be polite about it. So that puts me right on the cusp of excellent. But if you're gonna notice here, guys, the 20% body fat is what really changes this gauge. And I don't believe I'm truly 20% because I'm not spilled over. My stomach still has some ab definition in it. So let's say 18 again, right? That goes up a little bit more on the excellence scale. And now let's say I go down, what's the powerlifting class? The 181. I don't compete in powerlifting, don't plan to. Again, just an example. Let's say I cut down to 181 and I get to a 12% body fat. Once again, we stay in this general range. The lower your body fat and the higher your weight, the more you go up on this scale. So once you hit superior levels, this again, like I was saying, is where most people are gonna kind of have the natural limit cap, at least if you have average genetics. And once again, this is not a guarantee that somebody's automatically enhanced or just because they're lower than this that they're natural. Once you get out of the above average range, I'd say for most people, you're going to look like you lift. Anybody on the street, unless you're just in a massive baggy shirt and pants, they could identify you and say, that guy lifts. That guy probably can fight. Even if you can't, right? That's kind of the assumption. If you're muscular, you can fight. People's heads are going to start to do that once you kind of get into this excellent or at least high above average range on the FFMI chart. Say we return to this 190 pound at 18% example. My fat-free mass is now up to 155.8, say 156. That's about 10 pounds higher than the 146 it was previously at 170 pounds and 14%. But that's the point, guys. Fundamentally, you're going to bulk, gain that muscle mass. You're going to have to trim some off. And again, guys, also don't fall for this fallacy too. You're going to lose all your muscle when you cut, or you're going to have to cut for as long as you bulk. I've talked about this before, guys, in the maingaining nuke video. That is a complete fallacy. You do not have to cut for as long as you bulk, unless you're like literally a competitive bodybuilder shredding down to 6 or 7%. Okay, you can bulk for a year or two. Many of you guys who are slim novices will have to bulk for at least a year, probably ideally 2 years, to truly build your base. I've been bulking here for a year and a half straight, but adding muscle mass is your fundamental priority. Then you can simply cut down over the course of a few months, reveal all that muscle, and then you can start bulking again once you're tired of cutting, want to get more strength, whatever the case is. But trying to recomp or maingain or any of this nonsense the entire time, you're never going to escape that average or below average range because you don't give your body enough material, enough energy to build the muscle it needs to truly recomposition. You need to gain muscle, and bulking is the most surefire way. It's really the only way to do that long term, unless you have a bunch of weight to lose in the first place. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want to see next down below. Thank you to the Patreon supporters, and I will catch you next time.